What's up, everybody? This is Mario, and I'm back with another episode of Endurify. And today I want to share a few tips and a few things that I'm learning about how to adjust for missed workouts. So if you know anything about me, and if you have been listening to the podcast, then you know that my core belief that one of the keys to Ironman training, half Ironman training, and really one of the keys to achieving anything that you want in life is about being consistent. It's about identifying, what do I want? What is that goal? Why do I want it? And then developing a daily habit and being super consistent with that action and with that habit until you develop the skills and until you can achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. Now, that is super important when we're training for endurance events, when you're trying to launch a new business, when you're trying to start a new podcast like I am. But what happens when you miss a day? What happens when you miss a workout, right? So when it comes to triathlons, there are just a number of reasons why you would miss a workout. It could be you got sick. It could be a business trip or travel. It could be you have a wedding or something, a big social family gathering on the weekends when you're supposed to have your long workouts. Could be a lot of things. Could be you're just not feeling it and you just need to take a day off to refresh and set yourself up for success. So depending on the number of days, let's say you miss 1 day or 2 days or 3 days, let's say you miss a whole week because you're injured, how do you adjust your training plan based on that? So that's kind of the question that I wanted to answer in today's episode, because yesterday we shared the 10% rule from Don Fink's Be Iron Fit. And this is where your increases in total duration in which is the amount of time that you're spending training from 1 week to the next, should not be more than 10%. And that's, kind of a rule that you should have in mind as you're looking at increasing your volume. Now, how do we incorporate that 10% rule with missing workouts? I want to provide a few different scenarios and give you some of the answers that Don Fink has in his book. So here are some of the guidelines for how to adjust to training for missed workouts. So if you miss 1 day of training for any reason, I would just say, and Don Fink agrees, just skip it. Just forget about it because missing one workout is never really going to matter in the long run, and it's risky to try and catch up by doubling up workouts. So some people, if you're a type A, triathlete, and you just can't stand the idea of missing a workout, you think, I'm going to have to double my next workout to make up for it. I would say that's not smart. That's not recommended. One missed workout is not going to make that much of a difference. So the Seinfeld Strategy, where Jerry Seinfeld, he would write a joke every single day, and every single day that he would every single day that he did that, he would put an X through his calendar, and his goal was to not break the chain. But the backup rule to that was, if you miss a day, don't compound it and start a new chain. And so it's kind of the same thing with this principle. If you just miss one workout, just skip it and move on. Now, what if you miss 2 to 3 days of training? So this is what Don Fink says. So he says, skip the lost days and rejoin your normal training program. But on the first day back, only do half of the scheduled training and then resume full training on the second day back. So let's say you missed 2 or 3 days, and the next day on your training plan, it says that you need to do a 2-hour bike. What Don Fink is recommending is that you would do 50% of that workout. So instead of 2 hours, you would just do a 1-hour bike ride. And then the day after that, you could do the full training amount. So it's a good way to kind of ramp back up. And especially if you missed those workouts because you weren't feeling well, or maybe you're a little bit injured, maybe you're tired, starting off at 50% and then ramping up from there is actually a good way to get back into it. So that's 2 to 3 days. Now, what if you miss 4 to 6 days? So this is now a little bit more of a significant significant time off. And so what you want to do is you want to rejoin your training program. But when you rejoin your program, you want to do 1/3 of the scheduled training on the first two days back, then 2/3 of the scheduled training on the next 2 days back, and then you want to resume full training on the 5th day back. So if you miss 4 to 6 days, when you're coming back, you want to do 1/3 of the scheduled training on the first 2 days, and then pick it up to 2/3, and then you can go back up from there. So that's, again, another way to kind of slowly ramp your way up back to those workouts rather than taking 6 days off and then coming back and doing, a 90-minute run. Instead of that, you want to do 1/3. So just do 30 minutes of that run. The next day, let's say it's another 90-minute bike ride. You're going to want to do 30 minutes of that as well. And then you can do 2/3 of whatever that next workout is. If it's swimming and it's something that's more distance based, the same thing still applies. Take 1/3, 1/3, 2/3, 2/3, and then you're back in the swing of things. Now, what if you miss 7 or more days? So this is something that Don Fink says, if you miss 7 or more days, you really want to possibly reconsider the timing of your goal and redesign your training program accordingly. So if you miss 7 days or more, he's kind of saying it's almost like something that you might want to reconsider if you can still accomplish your goal. I would say that it is doable, and even some of these different practices of 1/3, then going to 2/3, then going back up to the full percentage, that can also be something that you might want to try. But really, it's just something that's going to force you to rethink your strategy, and you really want to reconsider how that might work for you. So that's just a little bit about how that 10% rule that we talked about yesterday, how does that apply when you're missing workouts? And so that 10% rule can apply to your entire training schedule. And I really, want to stress the importance of that. So that was kind of the main point of today's episode. I really wanted to build on that 10% rule and start to think about those missed workouts. And this is where I want to bring it back to you and help you understand, in the scenario where you have to miss your workouts, are you slowly ramping your way back up? Or are you that type of person that's like, okay, if I miss my workout, I'm going to need to double it the next time I come back, because that is not really recommended, and it's not something that you're going to want to do to set yourself up for success. So that's what I have for you today. I hope that served you. I hope you all have an amazing day.